So, sprayed up all those green bits now. Basically all the spraying's been done for the cockpit area. What we need to do now is work on our bit of photo etch parts here, just to get our nice instrument panel all sorted. Now, as I say, this is normally film, but it's just paper. What you want to do is you just want to cut out this instrument panel, okay? Now, the one thing, okay, let's bring you in a bit more, is you don't need to cut out this absolutely and utterly perfect, okay? All you need to do is just make sure that you've got all of your dials actually in. Okay, you can use scissors if you want. I'm just using a blade for this. Okay, and you can just nicely cut around there, okay, and as you can see, I mean, that is just by no means perfect all round. As you can see, we've still got quite a bit of black around that, okay, and what you want to do here is now just glue this on. So I'm just going to get some of the crystal clear, okay, bit of glue on the end of let's bring you out just a little bit. Okay, bit of our glue on here, okay. We kind of want to get like a glaze of a film, shall we say, of glue on here. Okay, as you can probably see there, we can then get our piece there. Okay, we'll just put that on top of there, and then we're going to really quickly just cut it out. I'm going to use a scissors just to cut this out. Okay, quickly cut out our photo etch part just here. Okay, I should have had this out sooner, because this is going to dry if I don't hurry up. Okay, and again, we then want to get a quick kind of glaze on here, and you don't have to worry about going over these instrument panel bits of detail, okay. This is actually going to help make it look a lot cooler and better, okay. And then we get our bit of photo etch, okay, and what we need to do now is make sure everything is gonna line up with everything, okay. So we can potentially come along and just maneuver with, do you know what I should have done? I forgot. A bit silly of me. You should have actually glued our bit of paper onto the photo etch first and then glued this down on that piece, but you know, that's what you should have done first, but I've got there in the end. Okay, and then we've got a little bit of a photo etch bit that needs to be bent, I do believe. Okay, which is just this top bit here. Okay, I think that needs to be bent. Okay, and there is basically our nice instrument panel, okay, and it just in those little dials you can see like a little bit of kind of a white kind of dially writing going on, and because we've put like a glaze, a film of that glue on top, what's going to happen is those dials are going to end up drying nice and glossy and shiny and basically look like glass, okay. So just quickly show you that again, because I did kind of actually do that wrong, okay. We cut out our paper bit, okay, with our dials printed on, okay, like so. And what I should have done the first time around, okay, is we cut our photo etch dial part off of the screw, okay, and we're going to need to neaten that up. So it didn't quite cut off just as nice. I'm just using a blade just to trim it up. Okay, like so. And actually this one has ended up getting a little bent. Okay, so we need to kind of bend this back into shape. It's only been bent a little bit, and I'm just applying a light kind of pressure to this. Okay, I'm not doing more damage. Okay, it's just a little bit of pressure. Okay, and what we can do now is get our bit of glue. Okay, and we can apply it this time to our paper first. Okay, and then we get our photo etch. So then this way we can line up all our dials nicely on here first. Okay, like so. So everything's all nicely lined up. And then we need a bit more glue. Okay, where we can then come along, and just on here we need a bit more glue just in the middle there. Okay, coming along with a bit of photo etch. I've just dropped that on there. Okay, and you can just maneuver that in position. Okay, with a bit of a blade. Now, got a little bit, I don't know if you can notice, there's a little bit of glue kind of just sort of, let's bring you in a little bit more, a little bit of glue just kind of seeping out of the bottom there. Okay, so what you can do in this case is we can just come along, cotton wool bud, okay, moisten it a little bit. Hold on, I think the camera's having a bit of time trouble. There we go. And then you just can kind of dab it on, okay, and sort of remove any kind of oozed out glue, just to neaten up the area a bit. Okay, just like so, and that should just look a little bit better. Okay, and what we've got there now is our nice, okay, dials looking a lot better now. Nice bit of photo etch. Okay, that's going to need a little bit of paint, admittedly, because the paint has kind of rubbed off the photo etch a bit, but a bit of paint on that, a nice bit of weathering, and that's going to look really nice. So what you want to do now is basically go round, you know, get, as I've already done, I've already put like my photo etch parts just on here and here. Okay, you want to kind of go around and do all that. Another note about photo etch while we're on the subject is you don't have to put all photo etch down, because what I've found is with photo etch, okay, is the manufacturers of photo etch seem to just how's a nice way of putting it, they just kind of like just almost kind of slap down whatever detail they can wherever they can, and because of this, okay, you don't actually need to put down all photo etch. I mean, you know, it's down to personal choice as well. I mean, for instance, there was a bit of photo etch going on down here, which I've put on, but it really didn't need, actually, there's about 3 bits of photo etch. It just did not need that, because the detail was already there from the kit part, and it was just like such a slight maybe improvement that, you know, it wasn't such a big deal. And sometimes they ask you to kind of like sand away at really hard you know, tough areas, okay, that really needs to be sanded down, and what you find is that the actual photo etch is only such a slight improvement on what you've sanded away, that you may as well have just kept what you've sanded away, and make life a bit easier. And sometimes, you know, you just don't need it. So don't think you've got to come along and put absolutely everything that's on this photo etch template down. Just put on what you want to put on, okay, you know, what you're comfortable with putting on, you know, and you know, it's just not, you know, necessary. Quite actually a few times with photo etch, you know, I like to at least mainly, you know, get on your instrument panels, your seat belts, you know, and some, you know, kind of pick what you think is gonna look good. But I mean, for instance, with this actual build, I haven't put on the pedals, okay. The pedals that you get with this are actually, you know, quite nice, okay. And the thing is with pedals, okay, is you very rarely are you going to be able to kind of like see the actual pedals. And when the pedals look actually good as they are, you know, going around and trying to kind of fiddle around, kind of making up all this photo etch pedals and putting them in, you know, it's up to you. I mean, do you want to take that time? Do you want to just know it's there even though you're not going to quite see it, or even not even going to see it, you know? So just kind of remember, you know, you don't have to put everything down. So what I'm going to do now is kind of get ready for like the next stage. Then basically all that's done now, and what we're going to look at is a bit of painting. You know, we're just going to touch on a bit of sort of basic sort of painting. Now when it comes to painting, I do actually like to use some decent paintbrushes, and what I've got here is my Series 7 collection by Winsor and Newton. Okay, really kind of nice paintbrushes, but they are really on the expensive side. And what we're just going to do now is just going to select a nice size paintbrush, which where's it gone? A size 0 should do it, okay. And what we want to do now is we're just going to paint on our seat here, just to kind of show you a bit of basic painting, give you tub a shake, which I'm using the Steel Legion Drab by Citadel, which is kind of like a nice way of getting a sort of a nice leather looking kind of seat after you've put some washes and that on. And we can get a bit of paint, okay, and we can just add this to our little palette, okay. Okay, because what you don't want to be doing is painting, you know, this paint neat straight on to a model, okay. Why? Because basically the paint is thick, and what you're going to end up with is brush strokes, and brush strokes do not look nice in my opinion. So we need to get a bit of water, okay, nice clean water, and we're just going to thin it down a little bit, okay. And you want to just get it, it's kind of experience really on how thin you want it, because it depends what you're doing, which depends on how thin or how thick you want the paint, okay. But we've got that a little bit thinner than what it was, and you just want to just kind of nice and neatly, I mean maybe I could bring you in a little bit, okay, you just want to nice and neatly, okay, paint the area that you want to be the colour you want it to be, okay. And you don't have to worry about making mistakes, okay, because there's no problem. You're coming along, okay, and getting out your green, and then just tidying up whatever mistakes you might have made, okay. And feel free to kind of rotate the piece as well to make it easier to get in there. And what you're going to see there, okay, is because, I mean, okay, we've come along and we've thinned down, let's get some light in here a bit better, I think. Now because we've sort of thin this paint down, okay, the coverage, you know, we've lost that bit of coverage, shall I say, okay, and you can see a little bit of transparency going on there with the green still coming through, but that is okay. You know, it's okay to come along and do more than one coat. It's better to do more than one coat, okay, than do one big thick neat coat and end up with loads and loads of brush strokes, okay. And you want to let that dry as well, because what can also cause brush strokes is if you come along, say now, and you want to just kind of rush along and you slap on, you know, another coat, and because it's like half wet half dry, that's going to cause brush strokes as well. You don't want to be sticking around too long in one place, keep on, you know, brushing and brushing and brushing, because it's going to cause brush strokes, okay. Give it time to dry, come in with another, you know, nice and thin down coat until you've got that nice coverage, and it will virtually look like you've sprayed it on, because you've, you know, taken that time to thin down your paint and put on lots of layers, okay. So that is the basics, really, kind of doing some painting, okay. So hopefully that's helped. One other thing is as well, I mean, clean your brush off, okay, in some water, okay, and make sure you kind of give it a good kind of clean, shall I say. And when you clean it as well, don't kind of push your brush in and kind of do this, okay, which I don't really want to do, okay. You want to kind of go push it back, you know, from the direction of, like, you know, the bristles are pointing that way, so you want to kind of brush it so you're not pushing your bristles back, okay. If you push your bristles back, you know, you kind of take the shape out of your bristles, and you want to keep it all nice and pointy, okay. So another thing I like to do as well to make sure my brushes stay really nice, especially when you spend the kind of money you do with the Series 7, is we've got some of this brush cleaner and preserver, okay. Really nice stuff. I think this was about £8 mark, okay. I mean, actually the price of the brush is this size 0, I think that was about £10 for the one brush. But yeah, I mean, £8 for this cleaner and preserver, okay. You kind of dip your brush in some water, and you just kind of nicely start to kind of work it into this kind of soapy sort of kind of, it's basically, it seems like soap, it smells nice, and you just want to work your brush into that, okay. But you don't want to, as I say, don't brush the bristles, you know, back, okay. Kind of come at it like I am now and sort of just bring it, you know, so you're not bending those bristles back, okay. And then once you've kind of got it, you know, worked in a bit, what you do is you can just on your hand, you know, work, you know, the soap basically, so it kind of, as you can see, it's kind of doing now, it goes all a bit foamy, okay. And basically it's just working right in there, right deep into the bristles, okay, and clearing out that paint. And at the moment this soapy stuff is looking a little brown, okay. It's looking a little brown because it's cleaning out, okay, the brown paint that we've just used, okay. So again, just kind of some water and just clean it off, keeping the bristles, okay, not pulling the bristles back, and then we can basically come in and give this another go, okay, in our soap, okay, not bending the bristles back, and we just want to kind of moisten up the soap and work that soap into the bristles a bit, okay, like I am here, and then we can kind of brush it in again on our hand, okay, and work it into like a bit of a foamy sort of thing going on, so it kind of foams up. And what you're looking for is basically the soap, this foamy stuff, start looking white, okay, because when it looks white, it basically means you've cleaned out all the paint, okay, because the soap's white, it's not looking whatever colour you last painted it as, okay. So that's looking good now, so we can give that one last kind of brush into our pot of water here, okay, and then we can just kind of clean that off, okay, make sure we got rid of all our, as much as the moisture as we possibly can, okay, keeping the bristles, not pulling the bristles back, Okay, and then what I like to do is one final last thing, and that is to shape your paintbrush, because at the moment it's a little out of shape with all that kind of cleaning. See how far I can bring you in. Okay, as you can see, the bristles are a little out of shape because of the cleaning. Okay, as you can see, so might sound a little bit disgusting, but basically using your mouth, saliva and your lips, you can just nice and quickly in one kind of go bring those bristles all nicely to a point. Okay, just like so. Okay, and what that is going to do is basically, I mean, your lips, shall I say, is a nice kind of tool for getting that nice all-round nice point to your bristles. And you know, it sounds a bit disgusting, but there's something in your saliva or something that just holds that shape for your paintbrush. Okay, and that's basically kind of, you know, a nice bit of care on your paintbrush. And I do just like to get rid of whatever nasties that might be just on the top of there, like leftover paint ready for the next time. Okay, so that is a basic bit of painting, okay, which actually I may as well, now this has had a nice bit of time to dry. Okay, we're going to come in and actually give this another coat while I'm at it. Okay, so I've just added a bit more water to this paint because this paint's dried up a little bit. Okay, and I'm just kind of a bit hard to explain, but you're kind of rolling the paintbrush, okay, like this, okay, just to kind of get that point into it and get off a bit of, say, the paint, okay, just to kind of keep your point, okay, and then we can come in and paint this up again with another coat, which it's probably going to need one more coat after this. Okay, but that should do it. Oh, and the next door neighbour's dog's barking, sorry about that. But basically, you know, there you go, that is what you want to do with all your sort of paint. It's nice and basic. There's a heap load more to painting. I mean, there's all sorts of stuff like highlights, different paintbrushes, you know, all sorts of techniques and stuff, but that's just a nice little bit of a basic thing to the whole painting. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to like go round and paint up all our little bits, like you know, we've got some silver and black and whatnot to paint in there, and then we're going to look at a bit of dry brushing, a bit of weathering, and get this looking really nice and realistic. Right then, basically done all my painting and everything, and we're all kind of coming together quite nicely. Basically what we're going to do now is do a bit of dry brushing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come along with the Citadel's Dry Necron compound. Okay, this is special paint designed for dry brushing basically only. I mean, you can thin them down, but what you've got in there, as you can probably see, is a real kind of thick, you know, almost mousse-like kind of thing going on here, and it all comes all kind of horrible and kind of lumpy and all this kind of stuff, all on the end of your paintbrush. Okay, but come along with a quick paper towel, which I don't have one at hand. 1 second. Okay, so what you do is, with your bit of paper towel, you can nicely just rub that into the paper towel with your well, what I'm using here is a Citadel medium dry brush paintbrush. Okay, and we just rub that into there. Okay, and what we should have is a real nice bit of dry brushing going on now. So if we can just lightly at first start to just brush on the model, okay, because we've just brushed off most of the paint, but you know, you just want to make sure that you haven't got loads of paint on, and you just lightly, you know, slowly start kind of like painting on. Okay, brushing all over, pretty much anywhere. Okay, and you'll find that what will happen is all your raised areas, right, are gonna start, you know, coming out and start to kind of, you know, get a bit of paint on. Okay, and that's what dry brushing is basically. So let's try another one. Okay, and we're just going to come along and just kind of start, keep on brushing. I mean, I've still not added any more paint. Okay, and what you might find is, okay, you start off lightly, but then, you know, it slowly starts that you're not putting any paint down, so you can start kind of like rubbing a little harder now. Okay, and really kind of trying to, you know, start getting into all those bristles. Okay, so it really starts to, you know, you really start to kind of push it down a bit more. Okay, so you can keep getting more paint off. Okay, and as you can see again, we've got, you know, just that nice little bit of a dry brush on there has just kind of just nicely brought out the detail a bit. And if we do it here on our black instrument panel as well, you know, it looks a little bit better when you come along and do it to something that is black. Okay, so that has now just brought out that instrument panel that little bit nicer, that little bit of an extra edge to it all, just to kind of you know, start those layers of weathering going on. Okay, so that's kind of like the first layer of weathering, so I'll be back when I've done all the rest. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add some filters. Okay, now I'm not going to use these as a filter, I'm going to use these more of a wash. Okay, although they're not designed for being a wash, I find that they work quite well as a wash in cockpits. Okay, because they're kind of like basically thinned down to a nice consistency that gives you some nice light weathering. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use the warm grey for Panzer Grey, which is P418, and this is like a nice kind of dark grey. Now these are enamel filters, and what you've got to remember is they don't work on enamel paints. Okay, you've got to have been using acrylic paints, okay, or everything goes to pot. Okay, so I'm using just a Citadel's wash brush for this, and I'm just gonna brush on, okay, this wash, okay, and just let it nicely flow into all the nooks and crannies. Make sure you brush everywhere, okay, like so. So it's hopefully all nicely gonna flow. And then what you want to do is you just want to have a look and go, okay, where might I have wash that I don't want it, where it might be just pooling up a little bit too much maybe. So let's maybe kind of like, what you do is you basically get your brush and just wipe it on a bit of a kitchen paper towel. So basically this brush now is quite, you know, sort of a bit like a dry brush now, and it will just suck up any of those pulled up areas. Okay, so there we go, we've got that nice bit of washing there, and when that dries that's going to look nice. Just to show you again, okay, get some of this filter on and you just brush it on all everywhere, and it just flows all nicely into all the nooks, crannies, recess areas, you know, and it's just going to show that, you know, dirt building up into all those grimy corners, nooks, crannies. Okay, and basically kind of doing basically fake shadows and stuff. Okay, so maybe let's bring you in a little bit so you can see a little bit better. As you can see, what was once a little kind of plain, okay, has now kind of sort of come to life a bit with all the dry brushing and nail this wash. Right then, while that's all drying naturally, okay, gonna come along and I'm gonna use the P404 grey for bright white filter. I love to use this on black areas. I really do think it kind of brings out this real nice sort of kind of dusty kind of look to black. Okay, so I'm just gonna brush on this, okay, nicely all over in these little just black areas. Okay, so we've got two colours of wash going on, and that's, you know, our kind of a grey wash going on the green, and we've got this nice kind of sort of a whitey kind of sort of light grey, but got kind of like a bit of oily kind of look to that, which does bring it out nicely. And again, just brush off the side and bring up any kind of pooly areas. Okay, and that's the two washes I've used there.